Is officially coffee time and close job. My other mug is being cleaned. I need a big cup of coffee today, and so I'm using my big mug. It's all love though. I love y'all. And so here we are again this morning, trying to get through this day. I hope y'all had a good rest, a good night, shared some good love, have some good moments with that person you love, whoever be special, right? Mike said my phone is on. No doubt, Mike. I got you. I got you. Um, if you're tuning in, we are on IG Live. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Come on through. I just found out I did not attach everything to. That's a big badass cup. Listen, Sarah, when you have this cup of coffee, when it's this big, look, with that big heart on it, that means you're ready. I don't care what's going. That means you're ready. I have to perform for the transportation folks today. They have some event going on that I'm performing for today, and so right after this show, I got to jump right to it. And I don't even know. No, I don't. I don't play, Sal. I don't play. So just so you know, like for people who don't know, I have some injuries that I deal with from what up, Strange, from gunshot wounds, and I have some injuries from being hurt on my job, and so head trauma, and I have some nerve damage and stuff like that that I've been challenged with since I was 19. And so they disabled me out of work some years ago, but coffee had been my only salvation. Like I don't take medicines and things like that. If I'm taking medicine, I probably should just go to see a physician, to be honest with you. Like I'm not a medicine kind of person. I don't take medicines. I don't like medicines. I don't like the idea of how they extract things from plants and things like that. And then they give it to you in this pill that you have to drink all of this water to try to flush it out really quick before it does damage to your system. That idea doesn't really make sense to me. So I don't really care for that whole idea. I don't. And so I try my best to not do uh, um, medicines. So we're not going to even entertain that. So coffee, I'm saying all that to say coffee has become my medication. It helps with my headaches, helps with everything, helps with everything that I've been challenged with. It even helps me sleep. And I'm very happy about that because sometimes I need a sleep aid and I don't want to take things that are not good for my system. You know what I mean? Like things that I know aren't things that I normally would eat or, you know what I mean? I don't do that. I don't do that. So, yeah. It's amazing how people will find you when they have something going on or when they want something. And I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit today. What is the whole deal with people who, Marissa, listen, caffeine is great for headaches, and it is one of my favorite saviors, if you will. So when my headaches are bothering me, I run to coffee. That's the first thing I do. Wits in the building, what's good? Anytime my headaches are bothering me, I run to go get some coffee. And I just feel like people should. I feel like Dick Gregory when I do that. You ever watch Dick Gregory? When Dick Gregory is doing a lecture, and he's speaking, he's always putting some kind of lip balm on his lip, and I do that. And I just realized that that I do that, and Dick Gregory does that. Great company. Actually, I met Dick Gregory. It was a few years back. I met Dick Gregory, and they did. I met him one time, and then one time I had the honor of sitting backstage with Dick Gregory at the Comedy Zone. We sat backstage for about almost just under 2 hours. Just under 2 hours. And no, it wasn't the Comedy Zone. In fact, it was the Convention Center. What's good, Greg? It was the Convention Center, Brown Sugar in the building, and we sat back there after he did his show at the For Sisters Only, I think it was. And I didn't perform that year. I think I performed the year before and I think the year after at For Sisters Only, which was a great thing to perform there. That was good. But I sat with Dick Gregory, and what I loved about Dick Gregory was he would say, he would tell you, okay, pull out your phone. And Dick Gregory likes to cuss, right? He did like to cuss. He said, "Come on, pull this shit up." And you, he said, "Y'all ask me these stupid ass questions. That's why you don't get the answers you get from me. You want to talk about what you want to talk about, and I'm trying to teach you." And right, brethren, we did perform at Emphasis only that year, and so we sat back there, and he was telling you to pull things up on your phone, and then he'll break them down for you. And he broke down how they sacrificed Prince. And probably you probably can Google him having that story. And he talked about when they killed Malcolm X and how he was like, "Nah, Lucian, what's good?" He was like, "Malcolm, look, brother, I'm not coming. They're not gonna get both of us, man. They're not gonna get 2 for 1." And he said he flew someplace else. He said, but he knew they was gonna call Malcolm. He said he got a call, and somebody, and y'all can look on YouTube to search the stuff. He said he got a call, and they told him don't bring his black ass to New York City. And just think if Malcolm would not have done that when everything was going wrong, right? And everything had said that, and he would not have done that lecture, he may have possibly, the CIA may not have been able to kill him at that moment. Well, it wouldn't have been able to kill him at that moment because he wouldn't have been there. And so another thing that, go YouTube these things so you can watch when they talked about how they said that the people who killed Malcolm X were the so-called members of the Nation of Islam that were in the front row, when in fact Malcolm got shot center mass from a downward position. And you can YouTube all of that to see the actual facts, how they break it down. And they broke down how they shot him center mass from an upward position. And man, that when I saw that video, like, that just crushed me, because here we are so at odds with people that we were not involved with, or had any kind of personal attachment to, but we listen to what everybody says and what the media reported, and all these people that were in the front row shooting who apparently didn't even have bullets in their guns. And even the movie, right? Spike Lee, Brittany Thomas, good morning to you. Even the movie, Spike Lee didn't even make that known, which was horrible. And maybe he didn't have the information, but after you get the information, after you see that, yeah, they had some folks that were the fall guys, but even, let's just say, even if those folks that did that, right, the folks who were in the front row, even if they shot him, you left out the major part of the movie where he was killed. He was shot center mass from a downward position, from a upward position. So the bullets were coming down and they were coming center mass. And it's like, how did you miss that? In fact, when that movie, I love the movie. It's a well put together movie. But Big Mike in the building. I love Kendra. What's up, Kendra? I love the movie, the way it was put together. It's well put together, but the actual facts in the movie taught me one thing, that people's misinterpretation of something is so common, it's so regular, and it's so detrimental to the projection of somebody else's idea or liking of what a real situation might have been. It is horrible to think that even with the Godfather Harlem, like I went to I think mid-season premiere. I went to a party last year, actually. I think it was last year, and I went and celebrated that milestone, right? And at that party, and I loved it. I had a good time. It was a great time. I was with my dear friend, my dear sister, Robin Ritchie. Robin, if you're watching, I love you. I hope you're doing well. I miss you. I know it's crazy up there with the COVID stuff, so please be careful. But I mean, I had the liberty to say or show that part. And strange. And so for me, I agree he may not have been able to show that. They did cut his funding, but you should not have showed that. You understand what I'm saying? Because that part was so detrimental. You should have just heard the shots and did something different. I'm not a film guy, but I know that if I put this in a film and it's not actual facts, I'm going to lead people in a way. And I'm not upset with Spike. It's just a disappointment in that, because if that is not the actual facts, brother, you have an obligation to retract that, or at least say this was a dramatization, but you left out what the FBI did that is documented information that's free for everybody. I'm cussing, Kendra, that's right. And so in that aspect, I'm like, you have to, as an artist, you should, you know what I mean? Like, let's have that talk. But that's a thing. Like we're stuck in that box where we can't say certain things or refuse to say certain things. It's just not, you know what I mean? Like we're confined to other people's ideas of because of what we put out. I'll give you another example. Spike Lee put out the movie Barbershop. Funny movie. Ice Cube. And then he says, Cedric Entertainer says, Rosa Parks, they knew nothing but sit her ass down. And I'm like, okay, somebody who has you're right, Mike. Sometimes you have to delete the truth. Somebody who has knowledge of a situation. We know Rosa Parks did more than just sit her ass down. And okay, it was a joke. I get it. But what about people and young people who can't comprehend that? Now they just washed away what Rosa Parks did, that whole movement, and threw it out the window. And in fact, I'm hearing that Rosa Parks wasn't the first woman. She just was the one that they noted. And that was amazing for me too. She made such an amazing impact with that, right? Have seen the documentary on the guy who searched for Malcolm Shooter. I watched parts of that. Mike, the guy who he's bringing it back to life because they know now that the people who are gone to jail were not the killers. But here we are so many years in, right? How many decades passed? And so, we have a lot of fixing to do, if you would. And it's just not the best scenario because now we have people who are believing that this war between Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X or Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam is a serious thing. And so, I can't say what personal attachments people have, right? I don't have the luxury to say that. I don't have the ability to do that. But it's just like people trying to say Minister Farrakhan had something to do with that. It's horrible stuff. Like, believe me, and this is William Brown. Good morning to you, sir. William Brown has a show that starts right after my show on the Empowerment Network. So definitely tune in. It shows on Facebook. Follow William Brown. If you're not following him, you can check in and check out his show follows right after me. Which is why I try to rush off as soon as I can because I try to make sure I don't cut into his time. But if the FBI had any kind of proof that Minister Farrakhan had something to do with killing Malcolm X, they would have tried to arrest him a long time ago. And so all of you who are contemplating that and going back and forth, they throw that out the window. They would not let any black man, especially a black man who speaks the way he speaks, they would have to come for him had they had any piece of, oh yeah, he did it. And so as much as they hate him, right? And so that dear brother, that beloved brother, Minister Farrakhan, drops so much knowledge and education for people, regardless of what your religion is. And when people go throw the race card and then you see all of these, you have the Jewish community, Jewish men, Jewish rabbis who are white men. You have pastors of different churches and different denominations who are sitting on a panel with him, calling him brother, saying that they love him and doing work with him. They can throw a lot of that out the window because that doesn't exist. It's a media frenzy and they love it. Okay. I'm not going to go into what he said that they didn't like and all that. That is not my purpose. But I want to say that again, we have an obligation to stop staying in this box. We're the only people. If we have freedom of speech, we should use it. But stop using freedom of speech in a way that it's damaging to the community. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing something that might break a code or something in a community that needs to be rebuilt, then do it, but be ready to rebuild and have that rebuilding in another, in the situation, the rebuilding process is ready to work. If not, you actually do a disservice. You do a disservice. Mike said on the Barbershop movie, Jesse and Reverend Al gave them hell about the Rosa Parks issue. Rosa was the third woman, but the ministers were behind her and stayed in the movie. And Mike, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a fan of Jesse Jackson. I'm not here to talk bad on people. Not a fan of Jesse Jackson. I've heard things about Jesse that I did not like and were very discomforting. I didn't like what he did to Obama on stage, and they caught him. And this is what I'm saying. Remember when Obama ran for president? Well, I think he won at the time, right? No, he didn't win yet. Trying to remember. All I know is that Jesse was on. The mic was on. Allegedly, the mic was hot. He didn't know, right? They caught him saying, "You see Obama up there talking about the black leaders. I want to chop his balls off." Jesse Jackson was caught on camera saying that. You're Reverend Jesse Jackson. Horrible, horrible. And what were you, jealous because Obama actually won and you did not? Right? Those people, and which they could have gotten Jesse because Jesse would have been one to to bend, if you would, which he's proven that. But anyway, I'm not going to spend time on talking bad about Jesse. I don't like something about him. I know that at least with Al Sharpton, I remember marching with Al Sharpton. I remember seeing his work coming from Brooklyn. I remember being a kid and actually seeing Al Sharpton in the streets and doing the work. That part I remember. And that I will not ever forget about Reverend Al Sharpton. And people have their ideas and opinions about him. I am going to applaud the great work that I know that I've personally seen with my own eyes and witnessed in my community. I'm going to applaud that, and that's going to be it. I cannot comment on things that I don't know about. But what I do know is when Jesse Jackson, when Al Sharpton decided to walk and march through Brooklyn, East New York, he came through Crown Heights, he went through Brownsville. They marched all the way through Brooklyn, all sections of Brooklyn, with baseball bats, banging on the drug houses, saying, "Move these drugs out of our communities." Reverend Al Sharpton did that. How I know? Because when he came through my block with that huge following, we jumped in line and marched with them as they marched on through Brooklyn, East New York, and went on to Queens. I went there. I marched with him. I walked with him. I was a teenager, and that made me know that he was in the community. And that's what I want to state. He was there. Brethren, if you can get on YouTube, because I can't really read all those comments because the way they move so fast, and I can't see them on IG. Mike said, Arsenio Hall had out Louis Farrakhan on his show, and he asked him, "Do you have anything to do with Malcolm X killing?" He said no, and shortly thereafter, right, they canceled Arsenio Hall right after they told him, "If you bring Farrakhan up here, we're going to cancel your show." I respect him so much more for that. I respect him so much more for that. He said, "This is my show. I'm going to do it. If you want to get rid of me, get rid of me." They fear a man who wants to tell the truth. They fear a man who wants to tell the truth, that money cannot buy him. That's why they feared Malcolm. Malcolm was fearless. He told the truth. Now, I'm not going to get into what happened with him in the separation of the nation, but if you know anything about it, you will keep your mouth shut about things that you don't know, because you cannot say what happened. But there's so much, and people say what they want to say and it doesn't even make sense. But I do know this. They wanted Malcolm separated from the nation, and they got him separated from the nation. I don't think that, and this is my opinion, I can't speak for what Elijah Muhammad would have decided or wanted to do or what his decisions was. He had his reason for what he did. At the end of the day, as much as you love Malcolm, let's look at this fact right here. His orders was to say nothing negative about the assassination of the president. I'm going to say that again. His direct order was to say nothing negative about the assassination of the president. And so had that been an order that our beloved brother would have kept, then how would the separation have happened? And I want people to stop saying and using all of the other things that the movie thrown in there, because we don't know that those things to be the reasons why Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad had their issues. We don't know that. What we do know is what people implemented from their ideas. Look at The Godfather of Harlem. The Godfather of Harlem made Malcolm X look like a damn, he was still a thug. They made him look like he was still involved with criminal activities in the streets. That's what that looked like. Is that actual facts? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did he have connections? Absolutely so. In fact, my dear brother, may Allah be peaceful, Minister Hafiz, who passed away, we just lost him to COVID this year. He himself had lived in a community in which he knew everybody in the community. And when things went down, he can go to whoever was the heads of situation and say, hey, we need to have a conversation because this needs to stop. And so I know that that the nation has always been in the community and always done great things in the community, clean up projects, we've done that. And so you can't get away from the actual facts, but we can't add in things that we want to add in. And I'm going to say something. I just blessed someone who called me and said they needed a situation and I wasn't able to do so. And I promise you this, y'all. When y'all saw me pause and look at my screen, the blessing that I just sent out just came back to me. I don't care what higher power you believe in. I gave a blessing to someone who needed, and I didn't have it. I did not. I really couldn't. I really didn't have it. But I gave that without thinking, and I just got a Zelle just came up on my phone. So what I'm saying is do the work, family. Do the work. Believe in it. There's things that happen because you do the right thing, not because you wanting the right thing to happen, because you do the right thing and make it happen. And I was not expecting that blessing. How I know it's a blessing because I know the amount was not something that would be something that someone would pay for. Okay. And I still got a blessing. So I'm so grateful to the Most High for that. Jesse Jackson thing was caught on camera. Jesse, man, this is Mike. I have a thought that people don't like, but another minister said Jesse had something to do. Now, Mike, you can go on YouTube. So there's a YouTube video out where they break down the assassination of Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King's right-hand man was Jesse. Jesse was the next in command. Jesse was usually standing on one side of Martin Luther King. Watch the videos. And there's a video that shows when Martin Luther King delivered his last speech and Jesse came up to the podium. I think Jesse came on this side and Martin Luther King turned his back to Jesse and looked in the other direction. And so there's another black man who was interviewed when they killed when they shot Martin Luther King. They interviewed him and he said, his words was, I spent the last few hours with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we did what preachers do. We had preacher talk and we had dinner and we sat back. We had preacher talk for a long time throughout the night. And I'm paraphrasing, but this is the language used. Preacher talk is the language he used. And he said, we talked about a lot of things. And then he said, and then that next day, when we were at the podium, the man said, it wasn't until somebody moved out the way and we were able to get a good shot. That's his words. He said it wasn't until, I think he said until Martin Luther King moved or until somebody got out of the way, until we were able to get a good shot. And if anybody can find that video and send it, please put it in this YouTube. Put it in there because I want other people to see it. How do you make that mistake? We were able to get a good shot. That man said it plain. And nobody brought it up. Nobody went back and brought it up. Nobody ever mentioned that he said that. How do you make that mistake? It wasn't until he moved and we were able to get a good shot. Oh my God, that's powerful. Like, you should be in jail. Ralph was on the right side. Jesse was still a rookie. Okay. And he turned away from, like, you know what I mean? Man, listen, the conspiracies that live. I wish my brother AJ was on here because I know AJ got something to say, but I think AJ busy because he would have been on there. I told him to come on up. Man, it's amazing. Media spin, internal spin, ignorant. Ignore that. Only thing we know is Malcolm spoke about Kennedy's death, which was a small portion was highlighted. This is the only thing outsiders can look at. Right. We know that Malcolm went against a direct order, and then he was silenced. And we don't know what happened after that point. Brandy in the building, what's good? We don't know what happened after that point, but we do know, Michelle, what's good? Happy morning to you. We know that in that moment, that was actually what pushed everybody. They pushed the separation between the two. It had to be silenced, and that's just how that works. You cannot go on doing what you want to do when you're told not to do something when you have a chain of command. And I'm so sorry that that happened, because we could use a Malcolm. I wish we had our Fred Hampton. I want y'all to do some research on Fred Hampton. I can't wait to finish his poem. I really can't wait. Fred Hampton was a man he was a man, okay? He was a man who can get everybody together. He didn't care where you came from, what shade you were, what group you belonged to. Antoinette in the building. He did not care what you belong to, who you belong to, what you represented. He was able to bring us together. Fred Hampton. And that's why they put 99 some odd bullets in that man's house, in that apartment. 99 is what they counted, right? Wow, can you imagine? It wasn't a no-knock warrant, it was an assassination. Research that. I want to do a day. Maybe I'll do a day, and we'll just research conspiracies, and we'll talk about it on the live, right? We'll just talk about all of the different things. Dick Gregory said Prince. He said the day they killed Prince. He said, first of all, this is so crazy, right? And please listen. Dick Gregory has plenty of videos up there. Research. Go to YouTube and just type in Dick Gregory. He'll keep you busy all day long. And so he said he said he knew they were going to do human sacrifices there. I'm trying to remember all of it, but y'all know my memory is not the greatest. But he said, he said he knew they were going to do sacrifice, and that he just didn't know who. And I forgot all that he said, right? And he said that Queen somebody came here and was wearing all purple. All purple. It was her birthday or some shit. And he said when he saw that, he knew they was coming to get Prince. He said, let me tell y'all dumb people. This is how Dick Gregory told. He said, let me tell y'all something, because y'all don't listen to nothing. If you ever been in his presence, that's how Dick Gregory talk. He don't bullshit. He cuss. He said, y'all don't listen to shit. You asking these stupid questions. He cuss a lot, right? I miss having those moments. And so he said that, think about this. Prince just did a concert, a solo concert, I think in Atlanta, right? And all of a sudden, they want to talk about, oh, he was so sick and that he was dying, and he just did a concert. He said, y'all not listening. He just did a full concert, and all of a sudden, he just instantly got that sick on the plane coming home from this concert. He said, that don't make sense. And he said, think about it. He's up in the air in an airplane. Chicago top medical center is the same distance on the airplane as which is a top hospital, right? They got the top surgeons, the best in the world, and then it's some of the best in the world. And the other direction that they took him to was in the same amount of time. Why in the hell wouldn't you take him to the best than to take to a rinky-dink one, if you would, right? I shouldn't disrespect the hospital, but why when you in the air, all you gotta do is take him to the best one. This is not a community plane. This is a private jet. They killed him and they killed Michael Jackson. Yes, in fact, it's said that Martin Luther King didn't die from the gunshot wound. It said that they suffocated him. It said that he did not die from the gunshot wound. In fact, the gunshot wound was not a deadly shot. They suffocated him, is what's being said. Yes, they killed Michael Jackson. They definitely killed Michael Jackson. They killed our brother. But they do that a lot, you know, they do that a lot. But he said they sacrificed Prince. He said when that queen got off that plane on her birthday, was wearing all purple, he said he knew that they was going to kill Prince. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy. Dick Gregory would read 10 papers a day from another. Exactly. That was he said he read public. In fact, he said, if you Google, and I challenge anyone of you right now, Google Dick Gregory win the presidency. because remember Dick Gregory ran for the president. Google it, and it'll show you the newspaper said that he won before he won, and he said he didn't take because he knew they would have killed him. Google that. Dick Gregory wins the presidency. He won. He actually won, is what he said. And he said he didn't take. He said, hell no. They ain't gonna kill me. Google that. When I Googled that, I was like, yo, I never thought about it. I never saw that, because some of y'all may not know Dick Gregory ran for the president in the United States, and he won. He won. Dick Gregory breaks down everything. And I choose to tell people to go to Dick Gregory because it doesn't allow you to think about a religious avenue, right? Because a lot of stuff Dick Gregory admits to the Nation of Islam has taught as well. And I refer to them a lot because I grew up in the Nation of Islam. I grew up learning a lot and learning that. In fact, a lot of you love the way I speak and the way I do things because of what I've learned growing up as a youth. And the beautiful thing is my mom did not allow us to stop learning. She allowed us to go to church and learn whatever we want to learn, and we come back and discuss it. And as an adult, I began to learn more. And I went to school and studied world religion, which was an amazing thing for me. I studied world religion under he was a Methodist pastor or preacher, and I asked him. I said, "Well, what was the deciding factor for you to leave, your position and teach world religions instead of teaching like a Christian based course or something like that?" And he said to me, he said, "Well, my daughter went away on to what do you call that when they go away and they do in other countries, and they're taking care of the villages and stuff like that, live amongst the people. I can't think of it slipping right now, but she went to do that with some people, and she came back married to a Muslim man with Muslim children. And he said, I couldn't celebrate Christmas with my daughter and my grandchildren. And he said, I have to learn what Eid is and what fasting and Ramadan is and all of these things. And he said, I just had to step back. And so my question to him was, well, missionary work. Thank you. I couldn't get it. And my question was, well, when you are studying to be a pastor or minister or whatever, or even a priest, when you're studying, do you not have access to those books and studying on a different level of studying? And he says, yes. And then it bothered me to think that here you are going into school to learn of, so you can become a preacher, a teacher, a man who is of the cloth, if you would, to learn how to teach others about this, whatever you decide your faith is going to be. And you have access to the major 3 religious books, and so you rarely study those with a focus on one. And then I'm always wondering, like, that should be in itself. That's the challenge. Let me study something that I'm not professing from my mouth in order for me to believe in what I believe in, even more so with the confirmation that this one is not my thing. And I wondered, about that. That made me think about how we go to these people to get a license to become preachers and things. Because when I hear pastors and in conversation and I ask, is church not a business? And they say yes, the congregation is like, what do you mean? But it is a business. In fact, you have to get a business to operate your church as a business. And when you look at that, it's always going to be business first, because if there's no business, there's no church, which troubles me so much, because if the religion is about following who that messenger is, right? And I'm trying to be, real delicate with my language because I don't want to offend people. And so if you're following who that messenger is, who's professing that this is your religion and this is who your savior is and this is how you get here, if you're following that person, I think it's very important to uh, not just listen to everything they follow, but find out how they knew this was their particular thing, and you challenge it against those other things that you're not sure about or you may not have known. Brother, that's why we would not go to seminary school. Is that right, M. Blackwell? You don't need a degree or license to have a conversation. Exactly my point. And so, and this is why I'm going here. He said we don't need a license or degree to have a conversation. Absolutely. And which bothers me is because who are you getting the license from and what are they professing? Right. And so they find a way to make money off you teaching what you believe in. And they have to give you the final say, yes, you can, and no, you cannot, which again is an issue for me. In addition, how do we accept a faith-based teaching from a people who never wanted you to have it? A people who never saw you fit to have it. I don't care if it was their ancestors, their books still state that you are not this. They have not changed that. And so how do you create this whole, they are the answer for me to get here? The license is only to collect tithes. Right. And so my issue had always been that, because who are you to tell me that if I'm a follower of this person that I have to come to you to get a license to teach such, right? I don't need a license to believe it, but to teach it, I need a license. And I'm getting a license from people who still uphold a constitution that doesn't give my person a real human identity outside of bondage and slavery and servitude. And so how am I coming to you for a license to teach my people how to be saved by a savior that is totally against everything your constitution says? And so this has been my issue with going to teaching and needing a license. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't feel that you can put a price on teaching that. I love to teach in a manner where you don't know if I'm Christian or Muslim at all. You don't know, right? And I'd love to talk about Bible and talk about Quran and you not know where I belong. I remember a lot of times this has happened, but in one instance, I remember this woman out of the crowd, and I had a show, and this woman out of the crowd, she said, "You are so deep. What church do you belong to?" And I said, well, I've gone to church before. I've been to plenty of churches. I enjoy going to churches. But if I'm going to profess a religion, I'm going to profess Islam, because that's what I know. That's what I've grown with. And in studying other things, I still attach myself to Islam because of what I get from Islam. Not knocking anything else, right? I'm not down on anybody else's religion, because I don't care how you get to where you need to go. That's your objective to get there. I just want you to get there, right? And she looked at me like lost. And I came to her afterwards and I was like, I hope you're not offended by that. She said, no, it's just that I've not heard anyone teach like that. And I've been in church all my life. And I'm saying it's not so much about teaching the word. It's just going with what you know to be the truth and how it attaches to your person and your way of delivering it for people to understand. I believe that no religion makes you a believer. You just are a believer. Whatever higher power or entity or God, whatever it is that you believe in, that's what shifts you to believing such. I can't make you a believer. No one person can make you a believer in anything. It is that higher power that you serve, that you worship, that you pray to, that you meditate and do spiritual exercises and rituals. It is that higher power that directs you to becoming that thing. Humanity has nothing to do with that. And I think we get lost in that. When I studied world religion and I learned how evenly the physical conception of Jesus Christ and how that matches to the T African folklore, and then that there was no letter J in timing, the timing that actually Christ would be here. There was no letter J. that alphabet was not even in existence. When I'm learning all of these things, I'm like, who changed this? Who taught us these things that have changed away from what actual facts would allow? And we can say, oh, language is this, language that, and I get it, and I'm not knocking it, but then it forces you to believe that regardless of who we call Jesus was, what was the name that he was called by then before they gave him this name? And I'm not, please, y'all know me, y'all that follow me, y'all know me, y'all know I'm not a disrespectful man. I'm just speaking of from my studying and not just from listening, right? But I'm saying is we need to get back to the beginning of those teachings and those ideologies so that we can have what we need to change us to the beings we need to be, because we're not changing as we should if that's the case. And I don't want you to not listen. I go to comedian Stefan's page for prayer every morning. I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever your belief is. And I believe that I don't care what religion you profess. When somebody's preaching and somebody's praying and it's right and exact, that is a place to be. I don't like the physical conception of what religion is, but I have my, and I'll explain to you why I feel the way I feel with Islam. If that's what you want, I can do that too. But the physical, the idea of what religion is my issue. Counsel I'm not seeing. Come on, Lucia. You know what I'm talking about. Listen, I always tell people this too. You can go on to YouTube and go to, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put in John Henry Clarke. I tell you all the time. John Hendrick Clarke. It's Hendrick Clarke. It's Henry Clarke too, but it's called. I'm not gonna put his name in. I'm gonna put it. It's called A Great and Mighty Walk. And I guarantee you this: if you go and watch A Great and Mighty Walk on YouTube, A Great and Mighty Walk. If you go and watch this, it's going to teach you some things. It's called The Great and Mighty Walk. A Great and Mighty Walk on YouTube. It's going to teach you some things that John Henry Clarke had laid out with his study and research that is really, 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 oh my gosh. Right. And that's what I mean. I tell people all the time, your temple, right? Your body, that's your temple. That's your first temple. Something happened to, I'm trying to I'm sorry, IG, I lost y'all for a minute. A Great and Mighty Walk. Watch that. That is really the body of work that Dr. Hendrick Clarke had put in, the work he had put into is amazing. And I think that we learn so much more when we step outside of our normal. You do have have to go through various classes per se as well, but I believe we are all ministers of something with paper or not. Absolutely. And so Kendra, I totally agree with that. I grew up with an each one teach one. I grew up in that era, right? And so you are going to learn things all across the board. And my dad says this is amazing. My dad said, he said, so I'm gonna tell you a story. He said there was this man who had a library in his home. I mean, his walls was just full of books. He didn't have a TV, he didn't have nothing, just books, all on shelves, just books packed up. He had so many books that he used them as tables and bar stool, everything. He sat on them, all of these books. He used to read all day long. All he did was read. And he said, and the man died and didn't teach one person anything. So what happened to all of that knowledge? And he said, before you answer, think about that. He said, put yourself in that room, in that house, wall-to-wall books, and you're doing all of this reading, but you didn't teach anyone anything. And I thought about that. And he said, when you learn a thing, you should teach it to somebody. And each one should teach one. That is it. And it was beautiful when he broke it down, when you looked at it. Another thing my dad said that I loved, he was saying, the best religion to practice is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's cliche until you really look at that, right? Think about what you have people, what would you rather people, you know, do or say in your presence, say about you in your absence, how you want them to treat you, how you want them to show love to you. And you do that, and it forces people to do it back. Of course, there's people who will go against the grain, but I'm just saying, like, that idea is like super, super, super dope. Like my dad writes in Arabic. He prays in Arabic. My mom actually is writing the Quran in Arabic, and I'm like, it's amazing. And she's in different colors, a beautiful. I can't wait to get my mom on here. Like, y'all gonna love my mom. I want to do a show, my mama talking to the sisters only, and then do a show when she's talking to the brothers only, and then bring everybody together. My mother is super amazing, super amazing. I will tell you this. When in studying the way that I've learned religion, right, without it being forced down my throat, without it being, you do this or I'm going to whoop you, you have to, this is this, you better believe that. I didn't grow up in that environment. I grew up in an environment where my mom read to us, and she taught us to read. She made us, she didn't make us, but you're going to read, you're going to read. She didn't like beat you, you're going to read this book, but you're going to read. I read Message to the Black Man, I think when I was 8 years old. One of the most powerful books I've ever written in my life. It's a great read, but it's reading for an open-minded person. People, September Virgo in the building. People who do not take time to read to get an understanding lose the whole idea of what they've just read, and it's a waste. But my mom allowed us to study and then go research on your own. Don't just go by the first thing you learn and accept it. Learn it, work through it, practice it, read it, study, to read stuff about it, go in depth with it. And I think that's part of the reason my brother Witz actually probably writes the way he writes, because of that idea. Because Witt's poems don't give you, they're not surface at all. There's so much in his poems. There's so much weight in his poems. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really grateful for my mom. She's amazing with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know how we got on to talk about religion, but I told you I don't believe in coincidence. I think everything happens in its timing, and on purpose. And I'm hoping y'all gain from it. Please go watch A Great and Mighty Walk on YouTube. You will not be let down. Did you know? I love the Da Vinci Code movie. Like, I love watching it. The Da Vinci Code movie, they stopped playing it in South America after it came out because people were researching. Good morning, Tiffany. They were researching all of the things that was in that movie, and the Catholic Church was in an uproar. In fact, it was said that the Pope, whoever he was, because I don't follow that stuff, but the Pope at the time actually went and did a tour of South America because of the people who were going, and they were in an uproar because of what they had saw in that movie, The Da Vinci Code. If you hadn't watched it, watch The Da Vinci Code and break it down. Just take notes and then research those things. And it goes, and then watch Dr. Hendrik Clark. He's going to bring it full circle. He will bring it full circle. After you watch that, both of those, you're going to look at things totally differently. You're going to look at it totally differently. Yes, I'm halfway through that film. Thanks for reminding me. Get Great and Mighty Walk. Yes, listen. A Great and Mighty Walk will not disappoint you. But just have a pen and a pad ready, because it's so much information on it. It's so much information. And you will not be disappointed at all. You will not be disappointed at all. Really good. Oh, I need some coffee. So yeah, I got a show to do today at 12, right after Stefan. I got to get off. I'm gonna leave Stefan early, probably right after praise and worship. Right? He said you got to put a praise on it. So, and that's comedian Stefan. If you don't know, follow him. Right after here, we go to his page and sing my favorite song, "Joy in My Soul." That's why I'm halfway taking. Yes, you got to take notes. You got to take notes. Is that Nopal? That's Nopal. That's what that is. You have to take notes. There's a you'll do yourself a great deed if you take time and study outside of what you normally study, outside of what um, normally do. I can't find that video here that the preacher talked about King shooting. I'll try to find it, Mike, because I know it's on YouTube. I know it's on YouTube, and I just don't remember the title. And if anybody else knows, it's when the preacher was talking about when he talked about how is Reverend something Woodson or something Woodson, or I can't think of what it is, but I'll find it and I'll post it. I'll try to find it and I'll have it for tomorrow if need. No, I got a guest tomorrow, and so I don't want to do that on their thing. But I'll find it and I'll post it up. If you DM me, and I'll post it on my Facebook, on my Instagram, for y'all that follow, and then you can pick it from there. But horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible that our people sell us out for money and position. It's horrible that we missed a golden opportunity with having Barack Obama in office and not having senators and governors to put our Black agenda on paperwork. It's horrible. It's horrible that we don't have people, and now that Kamala is in there, we need to get some senators. Listen, y'all, we need to get some people in to put our Black agenda on paper. If it's the senators and the governors, it's the local people. Listen to me. It's the local people that we need to put our Black agenda on the ballot, not the president. Listen to me carefully. We need the locals, not the president. Stop being so concerned about the president coming down here on Main Street helping you out. The president is not doing that. The president is not able to do that. Okay? It's the local people, the local politicians. I say this to you all the time. They say politician and religion don't mix. Bullcrap. It makes a whole lot. The bottom line is, if you had some religious political people that was really following religion, this shit wouldn't be as bad off as it is. But they're not religious in that aspect. Or maybe they are religious and they're not spiritual, whatever you want to call it. They just not really believing in a God doing the crazy stuff that they're doing. They can't be. They don't believe in karma. They don't believe in going to hell. They can't be. Not with them signing the shit that they signed to let happen. So let's just cut through the crap with that. We need a Black agenda, but the Black agenda does not come from the president. The president the president of the United States, let's think about that. Let's think about your job. All of you who have a job, all of you work in call centers and stuff like that. How often do you get to the person in town? Before you even call them on the phone, you might be able to send them an email, but even before they get the email, the secretary gets it. What I'm saying is, there's a whole lot of people that has to go through this red tape before it gets to the presidency. And so stop looking, because by the time the president see it, their ass is out of office. We need the Black agenda on the local level so that the senators and the governors can take it and then put it before the president. That's how it gets to the president. Not you writing no damn email and going outside and picketing. That ain't getting you but so far. Listen, they are prepared for picketing. When you go out and protest, do you know the people, the police officers with the shield and the stick? They don't even have a gun. They got mace and a stick. They ain't worrying about you. Now they got people around it that got guns, but them people right up in the front, they ain't got no guns. The people behind them got the guns. Okay, they're not worried about what you doing protesting. Am I saying protesting don't work? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying marching don't work. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to tell you what not to do. But what I am going to tell you is that your protest is in the Senate office. Your protest is in the governor. Your protest is in aldermen and all these local people that are fighting for positions. That is where your protest belongs. Protest with them. Protest against them. We want a Black agenda, or we're not voting your ass in here. Get to them. Because once they say that this is what it is, that's different from you trying to get the president to do it. They do it. They're in position to do it. And we got people in position to do it, but we ain't going to see them. We don't know. There's a big election coming up in Georgia in January. We need to be talking about that. As a matter of fact, me and AJ will be on 7 o'clock Thursday night. Is that tomorrow night? That's tomorrow night. My days are going to go. Tomorrow night, me and AJ will be on. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Come and let's talk. We're going to be talking about all that stuff. It's not just about poetry. It's not just about entertainment. It is about healing, yes, but it's about let's move forward, and we need to move forward. We proved this time that votes count. We need to focus on getting 100% of the black people voting. Don't tell me it can't happen and ain't gonna happen. Shut up. You said we wasn't gonna have a black president and it happened, which he wasn't the first black president, but I'm gonna let y'all do your research and find out who the very first black president was. Research that and tell me tomorrow who that name is. Or we got actually 5 minutes left. Tell me today who the name of the first black president was, who was on one of them printed dollar bills as well. Not the $1, I think it's the $5. Anyway, tell me who that first black president was. But y'all said that, because I said it, we'll never see a black president, and it happened. But what that means is we got to stop saying it won't happen. We got to stop saying that it's not going to happen, that it's not possible, because we just proved that. Now we got a black sister as a vice president. But I'm trying to tell y'all that it works. And so the next step is let's get our black agenda on the ballot. Now, first of all, we got to have, thank you, Mike, John Hanson. Appreciate you, brother. I knew somebody was going to pull it up. We have to have a black agenda. What is that? What does that look like? We don't even have the black agenda set to go on the ballot this time around. But we fighting for it. What the hell are we fighting for? I don't want to fight just to have a black face in office. We had that already. Don't mean nothing. You got a black face on a police officer uniform. Don't mean nothing. And so I want to find out what a black agenda looks like. I hope y'all taking notes so we can talk about this Thursday night. What a black agenda looks like. How do we present that, and who do we present it to? Take the president off the list. The black agenda needs to be on the list for the governors and the Senate. That's what we need to do. That is what we need to do. And once we start to work for that and work towards that, I think we'll yeah. No, Paul, I will say this. Public office is not for me. I will vote. I will help campaign, but public office is not for me. And I have my reasons why I don't ever care to seek a position as such. I don't want that. I don't want to be in a public office. I don't want to be any of those positions, not even a mayor, I don't think. I don't want that for me. And so, maybe one of my grandchildren will. And so I sent a gift to my grandson. I can't wait to hear his response because I hadn't talked to him a little bit. But I'm really excited about that. I can't wait till he gets what I sent him. It feels real good to have grandchildren, man. Haven't met all my grandchildren, but I can't wait to actually have them when they're old enough to come visit, and I can send them a ticket to come see me. That is going to be so special. I'm going to be so happy and so proud, man. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. Listen, we got less than 2 minutes. Thank y'all for tuning in so much. Like I said, I love doing what I do. I love coming to talk with you all and spending time. This is amazing. This platform is great, and I'm seeing great things coming from it. We're learning. We're growing together. Tell somebody about it. Please share my page so we can I need more subscribers, right? Share the page so we can get some subscribers. We can get more people. I have more guests coming. When the guests can't show up, I'm still going to be here present for you. And we'll have these kind of talks, and we'll just keep going. Let's keep learning. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. we'll be here. 7 p.m. me and AJ will be on, bringing y'all that magic. Thank y'all for tuning in. I challenge you today to be a better person today than you was yesterday. You have everything you need in your ability to be great, to be fantastic. But more importantly, you have everything you need to be loved, even if it means to love yourself first so that others can begin to learn your love language. Take time out for you today. Find a reason to smile at that person in the mirror, because nobody can be that person. You are great. You are fantastic. You are perfectly built the way you were supposed to be. Everything you need resides within you. You just have to dig inside, get it, and reach out. And let the world know that you are worthy of all those great and amazing things that you have. And please just share with everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all same time tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Going to Comedian Stefan page now for prayer and worship time. So I will see y'all at Comedian Stefan on IG. Peace and love.